Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 8 Autoloading Premium American Medium, the Astron Rex. This is an incredibly, I would say, really unique vehicle on its playstyle. There's a lot of autoloaders, especially mediums, that exist already in the game at Tier 8. We've got, for example, the T69, which is another American autoloader. The T69 has a 2.5 second intro clip and about, I think, 220, 200 alpha. It's able to deal a decent chunk in a very quick amount of time with a super high DPM value. In fact, it's crazy that the vehicle has 2,300 damage per minute for an autoloader. The Astron Rex, on the other hand, does not have a lot of damage per minute. In fact, it sits at one of the lesser values for mediums at 1,810. However, one of the main reasons why is because it has a lot more alpha than a lot of the autoloaders. It deals 290 damage per shot, which means in a clip you're dealing 870. That is more than half of any medium tank you're fighting. This isn't like a heavy, like an Emil 1 or a Samwa, where you're going to be chunking heavy's hit points. This is a medium, where as long as you have a little bit of support from a teammate, you're going to be able to easily slap 1, 2, 3 shells into somebody, back in the cover, and take off half their health. I mean, heck, if you're fighting even a Tier 9 medium, if you pen all 3 shells, you're still going to slap off half their health. Now, Wargaming knows this, so they've definitely balanced it in a lot of aspects. First of all, it does not have a lot of dispersion. That's good. 0.335 is pretty bad. Same for the aiming time, so gun handling is quite bad on this vehicle. As well, it has a very long intro clip at 3.53 seconds. It's going to take you 7 seconds in total to get out all 3 shells. When you keep that in mind, the average medium that has about 220 to 240 alpha probably has a 5 to 6 second reload. So when you think about it, the average medium can get 2 shells into you, taking off maybe about 450 hit points, where you're going to take off about 870. So you're dealing about double the damage if you're trading shot for shot what another medium can do. So keep that in mind. It's not like you're going to get away for free when dealing damage to opponents. And if you're fighting higher tier mediums, for example, an E50 or an M46 Patton, those tanks have also pretty fast reloads, and if they hit you, they're going to take 700 hit points off, as they have upwards of 350 alpha like the E50. So keep that in mind. This tank is good, very nice on the clip, but it's a long intro clip, and it can expose you longer than you want to be. Gun depression is good, 8 degrees, and when it comes to penetration, it's pretty good as well. 194 on the standard is enough to get the job done against most vehicles, and the premium at 252 is also pretty dang solid. I would say the penetration all around is definitely good enough to get the job done. Mobility-wise, the tank goes 52 kilometers per hour forward and 22 in reverse, making it a fairly mobile tank. It doesn't have the best power to weight, though. You should keep that in mind. A vehicle like the T95E6 actually has a better effective power to weight than this vehicle. So it's not slow, but just keep in mind it's also not the fastest of mediums out there. It'll definitely struggle to get up to top speed. Keep that in mind, especially when you need to leave very quickly if there's somebody trying to chase you. This is not the tank you're going to get very fast away from a medium that is trying to chase you. Now, I should very briefly touch on the armor profile. Its armor is not good, is what I'll say. This is it on flat ground, and you can see the upper plate's pretty troll. It's about 170, which means if you're going up against tier 7s, yeah, you can definitely get pens on that upper plate. The nice thing is that when you're using it hull down, this is what it looks like with the 8 degrees of gun depression against your average medium with standard pen. And I mean, the Pantera's got really good pen at 203. If we were to get out a more average medium, let's say like a T44, this is what your 175 mils of pen sees. So it's actually quite good armor. Even if you load premium, you can see the turret's pretty good. Now, it does have a lot of weak spots, the hatch, the cheeks, but upper plate is all on auto ricochet, and the turret, for what it is actually decently armored. Now, the sides of the turrets are not good on armor. Side of the hull is absolutely awful, and if you have this hull on flat, it's bad. So keep that in mind. The armor on this tank is only good really when you're using it fully hull down. Which reminds me of a vehicle like the Caro 45 ton, the tank that in reality has no armor, but only when you're using it fully hull down does it actually work. So when it comes to the armor profile of this tank, don't expect to have any. The way I play it is I play very passive, I wait for my opponents to make mistakes, and then I punish them for it. However, what if you don't want to play passive? Well, this game here on Canyon is going to show you everything you need to know. Now, when it comes to my opinions on this tank and everything about it, I think it is a pretty well-balanced vehicle. In fact, if you want my opinion, if you're bad at the game or, you know, you're pretty average, I don't think you will do amazing in this tank, and this probably isn't the vehicle for you. It's definitely one of those tanks that takes a bit of playing to fully understand the playstyle. I would say it took me about 10 or so battles before I started actually doing pretty well in the tank. I was averaging about 1600 in the vehicle and kind of struggling to do pretty well, and then I pulled out a couple 3Ks, which you're going to see here, and now my average damage is over 2000, and I'm hoping that I can continue to get it up. So that's the thing I always say, is that tanks sometimes obviously take a lot of time to understand, but this is just one of those tanks that really is such a weird design on its armament. It's a weird design on the gun, how it's balanced and everything like that. But as we can see already, I managed to chunk a pretty sweet hit point pull off the enemy, dealing 1165 with my full clip, being a pretty nice fire into the T-32. So with that in mind, what am I going to do here? Well, I know with my 8 degrees of gun depression, and as I said, pretty good turret armor when I'm fully hauled down, I should actually be able to work pretty well against a vehicle like the Rev or the Skoda T27. So the Rev bounces me, we get a nice pen into his vehicle for 363, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nice shell into the Skoda once, and another nice shell into the Skoda. And this is really a good example of where the armor is actually decent on the tank. You can see I went from about 1100 damage to 2090, and again, this is where the vehicle feels really powerful, is when you're able to just wait behind cover, load your clip, and then boom, 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 dump on the enemy. It really is quite a fun tank. It's definitely going to be one of my more played tier 8s. What's funny is that on World of Tanks PC, this tank actually has a 5-shell autoloader, if I'm not mistaken, which is insane. It's also got like 330 damage each shell. It's definitely a very, very different vehicle in Blitz than what it is to PC. Now you'll notice here, this is a good example of the power to weight. Just watching me like drive up or, you know, on flat ground, you can see I'm averaging around 40. So it's not a super fast vehicle. You can see here, it really doesn't go that fast for a medium, so keep that in mind. But here we go. 1 HE, max roll for 450, 2 HEs, 327, and let's get that third one out. Boom, 380. Yep, we are up to 3,400 damage dealt in this game. So, I see the IS-3 Defender. I know I'm not going to be able to get to him fast enough, so I'm like, alright, let me head around the Scorpion. But no, never mind, the Scorpion's going to completely block me. Poob. Alright, well that kind of sucks, but let's see. We got the T-95 off to the side, and the Bosch Chatillon Barrasque in front of me. Okay, well, I know the 95 I'm not going to be able to pen, and it doesn't really matter as the Contraccaro Mark II finishes him off. So instead, I'm going to pull around here, and even though we're not very fast, still get a nice shell into the Barrasque, finishing off with 3,756 damage. I didn't want to really showcase a game where I did anything crazy to get a false impression of how this vehicle plays. I would say that game there is actually a really good example of really the average game you should expect to see in the Astron. I mean, we didn't do anything crazy that battle, but it was a good example to showcase where the tank gets nice HEs out. I think it's got 360 alpha with the HE, where the gun works pretty well, where the armor can work. So I really think that was a good game to showcase all that. This was another decent game I had. I thought I'd just showcase this one as well to show the full HE capabilities of this tank on an AFK Bulldog, and as well just why I like this tank. Now, the legendary camouflage is it's kind of cool. There's like I don't know why they put a girl on it, but yeah, you've got some girl here. Yeah, I don't know. If you like girls, this camo is having a girl on it. I don't really know what else to say. It's cool. I think the color scheme looks cool. I didn't even know there was a person on the camo until it came out like today. I thought it was just a cool color scheme, but I still like bright colors. I'm a person that likes pinks, blues, yellows. And this tank having all those colors, I don't know, I just think it's kind of cool. People are always bummed out that there's no realistic camos coming into Blitz. Don't get me wrong, I like realistic camos, but at the same time, it's a game. And this is a game meant for kids. So, you with your realistic views, let's be real. It's a kid's game. Chill. Let Wargaming make some fun camos, because the whole point of this game is to have fun. It's not to get mad about legendaries, right? And Wargaming still has done a good job on some of the legendaries. For example, the Minotauro legendary is pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's realistic, but it looks very cool. 60 TPs looks awesome, and I gotta say the STR-VK, which I've seen a bit, looks absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I actually like the legendary camos Wargaming's been working on. Now in front of us, we got a Tiger 2. And hello, Mr. Tiger. There's one. 2, and you can definitely see how long this intro clip is. I mean, 3.5 seconds is quite bad. And it's the same thing I've noticed with the Caro. 3.5 seconds is that it's not a good number, because 3 seconds is the sweet spot where you normally out-reload just about anything you're shooting at with enough time that you'll still be able to back in the cover without them shooting you. But 3.5 seconds is enough time to give the enemy either the opportunity to aim in on you, shoot you, or at the same opportunity, just back in the cover. That's a lot of times what I've noticed with vehicles like this or the Caro, is 3.5 seconds is just a really long time. You normally only get 1 or 2 shells into your opponents, and then they're able to get back in the cover, because 7 seconds is a lot of time. I mean, if we count, watch this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that's a lot of time when you think about it, that the enemy has to back in the cover. Now, that was a pretty nice clip. You can see where this vehicle does have the ability to poob on somebody. We've dealt 2,014 damage so far, and we're going to continue going here. We got the Tiger one in front of me, SU-130 off to the side. I don't know where the rest of their team is, but honestly, I don't care. I'm just going to go for this Tiger, and again, this is where that clip feels great. 1 easy shell into the Tiger, and I'm going to go for his track wheel. People that don't repair their tracks like this Tiger give me very easy damage. Unfortunately, we didn't get that final shell out. You can see me shake my screen there a little bit. I was kind of irritated that my teammate finished that dude off like half a second before. I wouldn't have been as mad if the guy had finished him off like, 2 seconds before my shell loaded, but nah, that just gets me a little cringe. But we're up to 2,600 damage dealt. My teammate, yeah, we're not going to talk about that one. But there you go, pretty good game. 3,190 damage dealt, and as you can see, pretty good result overall. So this is the Astron Rex. It's a very well-balanced vehicle. There's nothing overpowered about it. There's nothing underpowered about it. Sorry about that. My friend decided to Discord call me, and for some reason, streamer mode did not work, so gotta love that. But either way, hopefully this review helps you out on the Astron Rex. As always, I don't really break in the crates because they're not worth the price, and if you buy crates, that is solely up to you. At the end of the day, what I always say is wait for the tank to come out cheaper. I wouldn't even suggest to buy the most overpowered tanks when they first come out in crates, because, for example, the Caro 40-ton and as well the Kampfpanzer 50 are coming out in the snow globes this year, which are going to be at least an easier chance to get for cheaper than what is normally a ridiculously expensive price tag. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.